Hi, everybody. Welcome to Free to Be Yourself. I'm Jamie Lynn, and today I have a very special guest with me, Ashlie Redmond. She is a beautiful astrologer. She's intuitive. She dabbles in the tarot, and she also is going to be doing readings for the Akashic Records. Ashlie, welcome. How are you?
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you for having me on. And I'm excited to be here talking to you today.
Yes. And I also forgot to say, you have your own podcast.
I do. But today we're on your podcast because this podcast has been quite a beautiful labor of love. And yes, you have been guided to start this beautiful journey and allowing others to hear your voice and sharing your wisdom, your story, and your magic with us all. And so I'm excited to be a part of it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, please tell us about Ashlie.
Well, Ashlie, Ashlie is a Sagittarius sun. I like to start with my astrology because that's the world that I am most familiar with, but my sun is in Sagittarius. And so as a Sagittarius, my thing in this lifetime is about expanding into all different areas and exploring, and most importantly, always seeing the glass as half full and seeing the best in everything, the opportunity in everything, continuing to always have faith and a belief in that there's always something better just around the corner.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
But if you couldn't tell, I am an astrologer, I'm a healer, I'm an intuitive, I do all sorts of different magical, special things. But basically my whole thing is just helping others see and find and know their own magic and how to utilize all of the gifts that we are given when we come into this world.
Yes. And so how long have you been doing this?
Well, professionally, I have only been doing astrology for about 2 years, but I have been fascinated with astrology since I was a child. And I think that the earliest, connection I had to anything metaphysical, when I started like reading about it, books or, finding books, reading and studying these things, I want to say I was about 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember in middle school, I was for sure already in it. I was the one that had all these astrology books, and my girlfriends would come over, we'd have sleepovers, and we'd read my astrology books. And I remember taking some of these older astrology books from the 70s from my middle school library. But I was fascinated enough to read about it from such a young age. And I always felt a calling and a connection to things that were metaphysical. I remember being drawn to like all of the witches and the fairy tales, from such a young age, and thinking, wow, like there's this energy, there's this magic that exists that we have access to. And there was just always something about that resonated with me, that I felt I held something within me that I was just aware of.
Oh my goodness. And where do you fall in your birth order in your family?
I'm the oldest.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
You are.
Mm-hmm.
And you are in Miami, Florida. And so,
yes,
Ashlie, we met actually on Instagram. And I'll never forget. I remember seeing you posted a picture. You were in your car. You had these rose-colored glasses, like legit, like rose-colored glasses. Like they were so cool and so funky. And I remember we started messaging each other, and we did an exchange. I got a service. I got a reading from you. And I have had my natal astrology chart read before. But the way that you read my chart, the way that you spent time with me, and you went through it in such a way that it resonated so deeply, so deeply. I wish we had it recorded. That would be really cool to look back
I'm
on
sure
that.
you have it recorded because I record all of my readings, so you have it somewhere.
I'm going to go back and take a listen then.
Yes. They're so fun to listen back to. Yeah.
They are. They
Yeah.
are. And
Yeah.
so
So that's how we connected. And what's crazy is that you and I have yet to meet in person.
it's
Like,
that
I feel like I've known
blows
you
me away.
forever. Like, the connection I have with you, it's wild. And so, it's like, it's just a testament to the entirety of energy is everything. And energy
Mhm.
it transcends space, it transcends time, it transcends the physical world. I know you and I both know that as healers, but even still, it's just incredible to see that it's real. I mean,
Yes.
through our connection, through how connected we are, like you and I have worked together a lot in helping each other grow, through our own path and through different moments in our life. And it's, over the last year, it's incredible. And honestly, I'm just so grateful for you and your guidance and just the connection that you and I have. But yeah, I know that we will meet in the physical
we will.
realm.
We will. We will. We keep threatening.
It's
but we
happening this summer. I can feel it.
Good. So let's go back to 2020. Obviously, that was a big, huge year for all of us with the pandemic and everything. And astrologically, could you intuit any of that, like just with everything going on before?
Did I sense that something was going to happen in
Yes.
2020? Yes. So a lot of people that are privy in the astrology weather knew that 2020 was going to be a massive year for everyone, on a global scale, because of the alignment between Saturn and Jupiter and Capricorn. And so Saturn and Jupiter are what are considered outer planets. They're the planets that are on the outer area of our solar system. And so when these planets shift or do things, they create huge energy and huge changes. So, these planets move at a slower pace. So a lot of things that happen with these planets, we look back at time, look back at history, we can see how these energies have affected people, societies with different global crisis, or good or bad, whatever. So the whole thing with 2020, I knew 2020 was going to be a crazy year. I didn't know exactly how it was going to manifest, but I just knew it was going to be a very challenging year, and that was going to manifest differently for all of us. But the reason is that Saturn is karma, it's lessons, it's maturity. It's not a good time. It's really about stepping up and being strong. And it was in Capricorn, and Capricorn is about society structures. It's the ruling energy of Saturn. So we had that, and then we had Jupiter and Pluto also in Capricorn. So I remember the day of the conjunction between these guys on January 12th, was 2020. And I remember just feeling this incredible intensity in that day. And I don't know, it was just, I knew it was happening in my personal life. I was on the just on the brink of ending a marriage, and I knew that it was going to be a solo mission I was going to be heading off on with my child in many ways. But yeah, it was an intense day. And so that was just right before the pandemic started. And I know, what was 2020 like for you? How did it start?
Very similar. Very similar. Isn't it amazing how our paths kind of are in alignment? Because I left in February, end of February is when I left my marriage. So the very beginning, within 3 weeks, that's when everything shut down. The pandemic, was, pretty much, we couldn't we had to stop going to work and all that stuff. And I remember thinking, what is happening? I'm newly alone, newly going through a divorce, and then to have isolation. And, I believe that's really why, I feel like you were sent to me.
Well, we were sent to each other.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for that time, because we would do FaceTime. We still do it. We still do FaceTime and get that connection. And just to talk about how important connection is, to have somebody who really, you can pick up the phone and call and say, I'm having a really difficult time. I'm grieving. I'm, a mess. I'm fearful. I'm angry, whatever. And to have a friendship like that, for somebody to lift you up and help guide you out of it instead of staying in it with you. I feel like that's what I notice the most out of my relationships, my conscious relationships now, versus what I had before my awakening, and, just really leveling up my energy. Is it was a lot of, victim thinking, like, poor me, look at what has happened to me. And when we stay in that focus, I mean, there's no way out. You stay in that mix of, that negativity. So I want to ask this question, being an astrologer, because I want to tie that back to it. What is the most important placement for us to really tap into in our charts? Is it our sun? It's the sun. It's the sun sign.
So our sun is what tells us where we are, really supposed to focus, and it's how we're going to experience life. So one of the things I've heard recently that I thought was quite interesting is the sun is also how we see ourselves, and each of the sun signs has their high vibrations and their lower vibrations. And if we are fully in our sun energy, we are exemplifying those high vibrations. So Jamie, you as a Taurus, you are here to build, create, nurture, nourish. You're here to build something. You're here to create abundance, enjoy abundance, be in the moment, be in the present moment, enjoy the beauty of life, enjoy the pleasures of life. And all five senses, it's a Venus energy. So it's about beauty. It's about harmony. It's about femininity. It's about receiving. It's a very romantic energy. One of the things I love about Taurus is that Taurus is a stop and smell the roses. It's so much about, working hard, but also enjoying the fruits of your labor, so the sun is really where we are going to always look to. And that's what we're here to aspire to, to be, to really fulfill that energy, because each of us has a mission with our sun sign. Each of the sun signs teaches us, something different. Taurus teaches us to work hard. Taurus teaches us to invest. Taurus teaches us to really be resourceful, to create more out of what we're given.
I love that.
Yeah, it's like taking the lemons and making lemonade.
Boy, have I done that in my life.
Right.
I have. Yes.
You have. And also I observe with you is you're extremely connected to your physical. You're very connected to your sensuality, your beauty. You like appreciate textures and smells and scents, and you're also, Taurus is very sexual. It's very connected to pleasure, and it's not afraid of that, whether it's food, whether it's sex, whether it's just touch. It's very tactile. So
and wouldn't you know, I'm a massage therapist.
Yes, you are. And then also, so there's our sun, But then there's also our ascendant, and our ascendant is how we are seen, how we show up in the world. And you, as a Leo ascendant, you are here to radiate that light, that inspiration, that enthusiasm in others.
Okay.
You know,
Our ascendant. Yes.
our
Leo.
ascendant.
And
Yeah.
then our north node is,
I always talk about that north node.
I
So
love
the
the
north
north
node,
node. Yes.
I love to concentrate on that north node because it's where we need to go in order to evolve.
Like our Dharma, what we're here
Yes,
to.
yes, you could say it's our Dharma. So if I want to be better, you know, if I want to become a better version of myself and help myself grow, I'm going to go to my north node. Okay. So your north node is an Aquarius, right? Your north node is about connecting with other people, bringing groups of people together. It's also about being more connected to the needs of others and cooperating with people. And so you've got a little tricky thing in your chart that I know we talk about often, but your self node, which is our past, which is our karmic stuff, our past life stuff, the things that we will fall back on, patterns that are comfortable, but we know that they're not going to help us grow. You know, and so with the self node, you have your self node in Leo in your first house. And so your thing, it's tricky because, you know, your ascendant in Leo wants to be the star of the show. It wants to shine. It wants the recognition and the attention and the fame and the spotlight, and loves that because that's what Leo craves. But it also cannot come at a cost of others. You know, and it also cannot come at a cost of, for you, partnerships, you know, so it's a very, it's a tricky line. You know, some of us have these placements in our chart and it's like, but wait, I'm supposed to be like this, but how am I going to be like this and not be like that? You know, it's hard to be like this and not be like that. So we've all got like these different areas in our charts. We kind of have to, you know, figure it out. You know, it's like a puzzle piece, and then like, well, how do you execute these energies? So for you, it's like, yes, you're here to shine, but when you shine, you're here to inspire people. You're here to bring people with you on this, you know, light way of elevation, of, you know, you're here to bring the people with you.
That's so fascinating.
Shine the light for others, not just for yourself.
That's my vision. And that's my work. My work is, you know, free to be yourself is all about helping others. How can they live a life that they truly feel free?
And here's another thing that came to me is that, you know, Leo, it's confidence. You know, it's a performer. You are a beautiful woman and you've always received that recognition, that praise in your life. But there's something that fulfills you on a deeper level with allowing that gift that you have to help someone else find that confidence and beauty within themselves, because it comes so naturally to you, you know? And I think sometimes there's also this with the self node there's almost this feeling of unworthiness. Like, you know, I'm beautiful and people tell me I'm beautiful all the time, but there's something that's not clicking for me. There's something that doesn't feel good for me about that type of recognition. And so you want to do more with your physical beauty and with the attention you do receive, and you want to bring it into something that's going to help people. So there you go.
Well, that hits the nail on the head completely. And it always takes me back to the summer that I feel like I was truly questing as far as, do I stay in my marriage? Do I leave? What do I do? It just was this burning desire. I remember, and I would make lists of all the things I could see myself doing. And it's like, why can't I just be content right where I am? And but yet I'm like, but there's something else I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be pouring myself into others. And I would write down women, groups of women, sacred circles. Like, I want to gather, collect, help, heal. Like, just all these things would start to come to me.
Mhm.
And the way it came for me was my own healing, my own unraveling, my own, cracking open through bouts of depression, through moments where, I was terrified to think that I could be on my own. And you
Mhm.
speak of being beautiful, being beautiful as a young girl. Um, there's a heavy price with that because you have this false sense of security around yourself. And I actually never felt confident, but I knew if I was good at something, I could catch the eye of a certain somebody. Like, that was my worth, was tied up in an appearance. But yet on the inside was just this vacancy. And so it didn't match this outer. And so that, it's amazing to be on this end of it where, yes, I'm constantly, I'm wanting to, of course, appear a certain way, but the internal is what is taken front and center in my life. Like, how am I feeling? Am I
Mhm.
feeling like secure and enough and good about
Mhm.
myself and strong and all of that?
Mhm.
So tell me more about, of course, I want to, I want to get deep and juicy with you. I want to just like,
Go for
um,
it.
I do. So you leaving your marriage, my dear, and you have a son, a young son. So you're a single mom now. Um, touch on that for me and our
Baby boy.
listeners. But I want to hear why. What was calling Ashlie out of that for you, that marriage?
Um, well, after I had my son, it became very clear how incompatible in a lot of ways my husband and I were. And he is dear, kind person. Um, but I realize now in hindsight that what I need in a husband is different than what I was seeking in a boyfriend. And my
Mhm.
husband was kind, sweet, wonderful guy, but I'm a very strong, I have a very strong personality, and I liked to be in control. I like to take charge of things. And I realized once I had my son as a mom, I could no longer do that. I could no longer be in this role of being in charge and being dominant of everything. It was absolutely exhausting.
Mm.
And it just was not working. There was a complete disconnection between us that just became more apparent with the stress of parenthood and with the stress of living in a different city and all these things. It was really difficult, but I also felt like we just did not connect on a level that I needed to, being the person I am, and especially doing the work that I do.
I
It
was
just
gonna
became more
say,
apparent.
yeah.
It's like, and it's not to say like you guys don't have, two people don't need to see, to like the same things. They don't need to be interested in the same things. They just don't. There has to be a
Mhm.
level of respect and acceptance. And a lot of my thing as a Sagittarius is just, I love to seek new things. I'm not afraid of trying new things and evolving, and spirituality and all those things we did not connect on at all. And that felt very lonely for me, to not have that spiritual connection, to not be able to have these conversations with him about certain things. I felt very lonely. And so, yeah, I don't know. It was just, there was a lot of things that I think, accumulated, that I realized. And ultimately, I just wanted us both to be happy. And
Yes.
that was it. And I think it's funny, you know, we have this idea that things in life are going to remain the same, but nothing in life ever remains the
Mm-mm.
same. And that's okay. That's okay. That's completely okay. I think that we have this idea that things in life are linear. Nothing's linear. Thank God nothing's linear. Thank God that things change, because otherwise, what's the point? You know? So I think it's okay. I think we really need to come to peace with the fact that there will be different relationships that come into our life. Different people will have different importance in our life at different moments in our life, and that's okay. You know, there's people in our family that we have closer relationships to at certain points in our life. There's friends we have closer relationships to at certain points in our life. The same is going to be with partners. You know, I know that each of the significant relationships in my life, I am so grateful for, because each of them saw me through a different moment in my life where I dearly needed that person to help me grow. You know, so I'm completely
Yeah.
grateful for the experience, and I'm at complete peace with it. So
You are.
yeah.
You are. And you're so strong. You're very resilient.
Thank you.
What would you share with maybe somebody listening to this or watching us who doesn't feel they have that strength? What would you say? How would you encourage them?
I think that when you have a pure intention for yourself and for someone else, you have to do what's right. You know, don't allow things to become toxic and ugly. Don't allow yourself to become angry and resentful because you are fearful.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
I love
destroy yourself and someone else and create a completely toxic, poisonous relationship and environment because you are too afraid to make a change in your life. It's not fair. You know, it's not fair.
You're right.
We can really avoid a lot of damage by being respectful to ourselves and being honest with ourselves and others, and being extremely conscious of what we really truly need and want.
You know, and no other relationship other than the marriage relationship is the one that is supposed to be until death do you part, right? We don't have these friendships to death do you part. We don't have mother child till death do you part. It's in the marriage that can, you know, that confinement there. Like that, I just pulled that word, came up, confinement, because it can be constricting. We do evolve, we do change, and I know a lot of it has to do with religions and churches and that whole, you know, feeling around that and following the rules of what is right, what is acceptable in society. So,
well, let me touch on that confinement thing. Early on in my relationship, that was something that came up.
okay.
We did not agree on this exact subject. I was always seeking something. That's my thing. I'm a Sagittarius. I'm a seeker. Now, to some people, that may look like you're never satisfied, you're never happy. Okay. So this is my advice to people. If you're somebody who's on this path of evolution and you love to continue to push your boundaries, push yourself, you are an ambitious person, you are a driven person, you like to explore life and you're just always ready to keep going, you need to have somebody who can match your energy. Okay. Let me go back to this. You need somebody who can match your energy, no matter where you're at in your life. If you are somebody who is happy, content, chill, you need somebody who can match your energy. If you're somebody who likes to, you know, go all the time, you're intense, you're wild, you're hyperactive, You need somebody who can match your energy, because otherwise you guys are just never going to get each other. There's always going to be this disconnection, this disharmony energetically. So that's honestly, I think, the most important thing I've learned. And it was really helpful to, for me to look at my own family. You know, I come from a family of people who are really intense, hyperactive, ADD, they never stop. And that's just genetically how I'm wired. And I have to have a partner who can match that, you know, whether it's physically or mentally. We've got to be moving at the same speed. Otherwise, you're just never going to be able to meet in the middle. So that's honestly, I think, my best advice after everything I've come out of.
So can you tell by reading people's charts that energy? Do certain signs match up better?
Yes. You know, this is the thing though that's difficult, is that our sun signs only tell us a little bit of it. And, you know, the sun is really, really important. You know, for example, elements are very important to look at. But then again, you know, I've seen people who do not have compatible elements, you know, and they work. So the easiest way to go by it is, you know, fire likes air.
Okay.
Okay. Air likes fire, and water likes earth. Earth likes water. Okay. So this is the reason why. So think of fire, it's burning.
Yes.
Air ignites it. It helps it continue to grow. It needs oxygen, right? So it inspires it. Now, what happens if you throw water on fire?
Oh,
burns it out.
It quelches it. Yeah.
It quelches it, right? Or if you put fire with water, it boils it. You know, so think of earth and water. Water nourishes earth. Right? Or if you put earth with fire, it's like it's too dry.
Oh my gosh. So what's Gemini?
Gemini's air.
Does that go with earth?
You know, the thing is, like, air energy, it's a lot like fire energy. It's here, it's there, it's busy, it's out there, it's always moving. Water and earth are different energies. They're more slower, they take their time, they're more methodical with things. It's a different pace.
So that is, you've never shared this with me before. I love this. I'm gonna take notes about. Yes,
it's the easiest thing to look at. But you know, it's again, there's so much more to a chart and looking at people's compatibility. And another thing that's important is the sun and the moon. You know, the moon is what we need emotionally. You know, that's what we have to have in order to be happy and fulfilled. You know, and I'll use myself as an example. My Leo moon loves romance and drama. You know, and I don't want to fight, but if I get bored, I might fight, and I might have some like overly dramatic responses to things when my needs are not met. And that's not fun, but it is what it is. And I have to sometimes remember, okay, that's my moon in Leo that's pissed that she didn't get flowers this week, or she, you know, you know, it's like this whole movie, everything is so theatrical with Leo. So yeah, you want to look at your moon, because your moon really comes out. And if you can explain your moon's needs to someone, it's like, okay, I get it. It's so simple, you know. And for you, your moon's in Virgo. You need stability, you need structure, you need consistency. You know, you need that guy that's going to call you at the same time every day, that's going to be on time, that's going to show up, that is dependable, reliable. Okay. Because that's what makes you feel good. Now you can't be with somebody who's just, you know, wishy-washy. You know, you might hear from him this week, you might not see him the following week. You need somebody who's going to show up, who's really got it together. That's Virgo.
Oh my gosh. And that is the truth. I can attest, since I'm anxiously attached and, you know, working on my secure attachment style, that would definitely provoke that. So, oh my goodness. I love all this, talking about astrology and relationships. And I ask all my guests, Ashlie, a couple of questions around. So tell me, when in your life have you felt the most free to be yourself?
Oh, I like that question.
Do you like it?
I love that question. There are a couple different periods in my life. One of my favorite periods of my life that I look back on is when I was a teenager. And that's when I like, I did whatever I wanted. It was when I first I got my first tattoo. I was, breaking the rules. I was, I was in a rebellious phase, but I very much was not afraid of doing what I wanted. I just wasn't. And at that age, you're not afraid of consequences. So you're really free. But I would say in a more maybe productive and healthy way that energy has manifested in me more recently. But what am I talking about? I mean, honestly, throughout my life, I've been pretty free spirited, and we have to allow ourselves to just do what we want. It's so hard, even, now as an adult, as much as I've done whatever I've wanted to, I've lived here, I've gone there, I've moved here, I've moved there, I've done all sorts of different things with my career, I've studied different things. I've never followed, the handbook of what other people have done or what maybe my family has done. I've really done things differently. But I think no matter what, at every age and every moment, you have this thought of, well, am I supposed to be doing this, or is this acceptable, or what are people going to think? And I mean, I really have little of that, but it's still there, because I am a productive member of society. But yeah, I think the older I get, that's really my thing that I'm working on, that I will continue to work on. And it may be my path as a Sagittarius, of really just allowing myself to expand out of the norms and the boxes and the boundaries and all of that, BS. But I would say now, I mean,
you're pretty free now, girl.
Pretty free.
You are. You are living it. You are.
Freer. I could get freer. I could get freer. But I think having a child, that's definitely helped me be grounded for sure. For sure.
Yes.
So he is my Taurus, and my North Node is in Taurus. So I am grounding myself. I am being consistent in my life. That's what I'm here to learn. And so yeah, I'm just doing the North Node and Taurus thing, I guess, right now.
You are. And tell us one thing about being a single mom. Give us a little input around that. Any advice, anything that you're learning as you're moving through this right now?
Well, make sure that you have a drug on hand that is helpful for stress relief. And I'm not kidding you guys. I take CBD upon waking. Okay. Yeah. CBD does not make you high, but it helps me chill out, because there's something that happens to us when we first wake up. We have the highest levels of cortisol in our body. And as the day progresses, it drops off. So when I wake up with my 3-year-old and he's at a 10 and I'm just like, wow, I'd really love to meditate. Sometimes I have to just take a minute, take some CBD. I make my tea. I make myself, my health a priority. I always do that. I make sure that I am going to bed early. I'm waking up, I'm getting enough sleep. I'm eating well. And once I had him, I really took taking care of myself, my diet, to a whole nother level. A lot of my friends will say, oh my God, you look even better than you did before you had kids. And it's well, you have no choice. Your energy, your health, it's absolutely imperative with having a kid. So I would say this, absolutely, you need to take care of yourself. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask your family or your friends or get help. Babysitters, things like that. Make sure you get me time. Make sure that you're doing things for yourself, that you're allowing yourself the space to, learn or, continue to do the things that you like, whether they're hobbies, whether it's education. And also don't put so much pressure on yourself to be perfect all the time. You know, sometimes things aren't going to be perfect. Sometimes your house is going to be a mess. Sometimes you're going to have hard days, but it goes by so fast and you just have to enjoy it. Yeah. And have fun too, you know, like kids are not just a responsibility, you know, or a chore. It's also to help us connect with being in the moment and just enjoying playing, go to the playground, going to the beach. You know, I know Jamie, you remind me all the time, you know, my 10th house son wants to be CEO every single day. And I feel like all I need to do is work, but I'm very blessed that I do have the ability to spend time with him and do things. And I don't have to, you know, be so stressed out, but you always remind me of that. So yeah, I don't know, just enjoy it. Enjoy it. Oh, make sure that you look hot, that you feel hot. That is huge. It sounds vain, but like, let me tell you, it is so easy to just let yourself go as a mom and completely forget that you are a hot, sexy biatch. Don't ever let that go. And that's one thing my mom taught me. My mom was a single mother as well, 3 kids. By the time she was 26, and she's in her mid 50s now. She has 6 kids total. That woman has never missed a beat. Okay. Okay. So that's a vibe. Okay. Like, don't let yourself go to hell just because you have kids. Okay. It's not good. You got to remain hot and sexy. So that's my advice.
I love it. You say it with such conviction. You guys have to catch this on YouTube and see her face because she is intensely just, I love it. Yes, I feel it. Now I'm
you
like,
know
oh
that
my gosh.
too, Jamie.
I do, but I'll tell you, it's I need to up my game. I guess.
But you were a single mother as well, but you always took care of yourself.
I do, yes. And I was a single mother, yes, for many years. Not for very, very long, but that period of time, my goodness. And the joy that I received, that love, I'll never forget, like the playtime and just, you know, the bath time. And you know what I miss the most is the snuggling and reading them stories before bed. And just, you know, because I'm so physical. And, you know, now they're full grown men. And actually my oldest, he turns 25. His birthday is coming up, and yeah, it's
what got you through those years as a single mom?
Oh my goodness, looking back now, because I've been married twice, so being single for that period of time. I had one very dear close friend that she really helped me. She had 2 young kids. Being around her, my family lived far away, so I didn't have access to them all the time, but I did talk with my mom a lot on the phone. Wow, it kind of was a fog because looking back, I wish I took care of myself like I do now. So I did not. No, I'm going to take that back. I ran. I started running. That's when I got really serious with my running and exercising because I had to have that emotional release and the endorphins and all of that. So yes.
All right. Love that.
So as all my guests, what I love to do is I love to pull a card. And I know, girl. And I've already told you what your lifetime symbol is, right?
Yes, ma'am.
It's strength, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And so strength for Ashlie, she is the beautiful maiden who is closing the lion's mouth. And if I can find it quickly, actually, I'm not going to mess with finding it. I want to pull a card. I want to pull actually 3 cards. And whenever you tap in, you're listening to this, watching this, just know when I do these tarot readings, this message is for all of us at the moment it comes to us. And so I'm just going to see what the tarot wants to share, especially with you, my dear, and what you have ahead of you, what's coming. Oh, girl. I
Oh,
love it. I love it. I love it. Well, right away is the Nine of Swords. And the Nine of Swords is an ending. So something in your life is coming to a complete end. And that does have to do around anxious thoughts, fear, worry, sleepless nights, a constant ruminating about things you can't out of your control. So like I said, I had the feeling I wanted a spread of 3 because I wanted to feel some energy that was behind you, what's here in the present and what's to come. And look at what's right here. We have the sun. We have the happiest card of the whole deck, which is the gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful sun card is 19. It's all about celebration. It's about living life to the fullest. It's about really embodying, like just having this energy of being feeling fulfilled, zest. You see this little baby on the horse being taken away, and with such lightness. And this beautiful sash, this orange sash, this banner has to do with sacral energy. And you spoke of that fire, that deep passion, that sensuality, that desire to keep waking up every day with a passion. And I want to take a minute with that even more. That is something so important for each of us to feel deeply connected to our divine purpose, why we're here. For some of us, it is totally being a mother. It is being a wife. It is being a friend. Others of us, we have things come to us at different times. I've had multiple careers over my life, and I know you have too, but just really tapping into what feels good to you and you feel on purpose. And then we have the Ace of Wands. So a whole new beginning coming, whole new something around passion, around career, around things that light you up. So how does this feel to you, my dear?
I love it. It sounds
Yes.
great.
Yes.
I mean, it feels very aligned with what's happening.
Do you have something new on the horizon that maybe you're going to step into or begin?
Well, I know we've discussed me moving into doing Akashic readings. Right now I'm offering a lot of, well, I shouldn't say a lot of, but I'm offering different things. I'm doing coaching, I'm doing astrology, I'm doing Reiki. And I have talked about doing the Akashic records, but I've also considered just offering a session, and the sessions for me would just include all of the modalities that I work with, and I would just specify the session to each client individually. So I'm just thinking of just bringing everything together and just doing it like that. Yeah.
That sounds beautiful.
Yes.
And how can our guests find you? How can they book an appointment with you?
You guys can find me on Instagram. My handle is Ashlie Redmond. It's ASHLIEREDMOND. And my website is ashliered.com. So it's ASHLIERED.com. So you guys can find me that way. And yeah, follow me, find me. I'll give you a reading. I'll give you some magic. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh. Ashlie gives the most amazing free content, you guys, on her Instagram. Every Monday, she does these live. So she's tapping us into our forecast of the energies, astrology, everything that's going down. You're always pulling a beautiful card of inspiration. You do these midweeks, you and I are doing lives together, but please come follow Ashlie. And I'm going to have all this is going to be in the show notes. And also, I just want to, again, thank you, my dear. I'm so happy that we've connected. Thank you for inspiring me to pursue my highest self, to step more into my worth. And thank you for always seeing and believing in me. So
absolutely beautiful, Jamie. My light recognizes the light within you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you guys for listening today. And as always, please leave a 5-star review, share this with a friend, somebody who needs some encouragement. Maybe they're just needing to make their day. Thank you so much.